All right. Topic number one is, as I said, graphs and charts and the enhancement that was made. Take a look at this page. This is the former graphs and chart page. We are doing some fundamental work on our dashboards, and um, not only it's reskinning, but also we are changing the fundamental code from one language to the other. Our software it was redone on the front end side, the screens and the shapes and the technology we're using in the front end. Last year, we did about 6 months work to rebuild it and take it to a new coding language and add capacity to our development and make it more agile and more flexible. So we did that front end work. And this year, the beginning of the year, the first quarter, we will redo our back end. But in the meantime, some of our features also will change. And one of them is our graphs and chart page that just went live last week. In the new look, if you take a look at, there's 3 sections. There's a top section, which essentially gives you the briefing of the parameters that will be selected for graphing. There's 4 tabs: wholesale, retail, hour, capacity, and hourly. Capacity has its own place because it's very important, and hourly. Those 4 tabs would give you different results, and take a look at each one of them in a moment. The second tab is the lower section. On the left-hand side, you see the selection of the services, service type, electricity or gas. And also you see 3 selection: 24/7, around the clock, peak hours, or off-peak hours only. And that essentially narrows down the graphs into either you graph everything together, you graph peak separately or off-peak separately, and 2 commodities. On the right-hand side, you see the selection for the parameters: state, utility that you want to graph, and the time range. So this existed before, except it was very, I would say not user friendly, and the design was not necessarily optimal. But this is way more understandable with your eyes, and also it's more structured in the sense that you can actually get meaningful insight from it. There are some changes that have been made, but I think it would not affect this demo. So let's take a look at wholesale tab. I just clicked wholesale right here. And let's make some selections. Electricity is our choice. And we want to look at 24/7 means that the default, which is all the hours of the day would be graphed together, the average of peak and off-peak. And I want to look at the particular states. Just look at the state of Illinois. And let's look at comment. And let's give a time range. 2017, I want to graph 2017, 2021. And to me, your usage and kilowatt, you can enter it. It's optional though. These are optional. But if you put it, you get more meaningful insight, which is you can get capacity in the billable format. So I put 50 kilowatts, a small account, 50 kilowatt, 200,000 kilowatt hours, a range of 2017 to 2021, 4 years. And there's other things that you can add: threshold for the graphs to remove outliers. You can play with this toggle. I'm not going to touch it right now. And let's get stats. So this page is getting data from our backend database, and then comes up with this chart. There are some areas that we're changing and improving. I just wanted to cover this, and I'm going to explain what's going to change. The primary thing that will change is that this is designed as a separate charts, 3 separate charts. We look at this page. Let me make sure that I zoom in. There's 3 main components that we have data from. The blue is the energy cost. The orange is the capacity cost. and the gray is the ancillary cost. So moving forward, if you wanted to take a look at your items by items of the energy supply cost, those three components are pretty much 98% of your cost. The rest are tariff-based, whether it's fair cost or renewable revenue rights, auction rights, and things like that. It's very tiny. So we would not really look at it. Let's see this as your supply cost. There's three charts here. The main change that you will make to this page is to stack them. We will make a stack chart. That's the request that we've made, and it's going to happen in the next few days. But these charts will be stacked on top of one another. Capacity, and then would be stacked at layer 2 would be energy, and layer 3 would be ancillary, because that's essentially the three items that will be summed up to build the supply cost. On this side, you see the average for each item: energy, billable capacity, and ancillary. There's no service fees included, obviously. This is just pure cost. And at the top, we have some measures of likelihood of today being the best day for purchasing, maximum rate and minimum rate for energy. This is just energy, not the capacity and ancillary. We are just looking at the energy costs, because that movements are much more dynamic for that graph. So as you could see, with a few selection, we were able to build a graph, a wholesale graph, and I can change parameters and rebuild it if I want to. Let's say my usage is 300,000, and I can change it and rebuild the graph. Numbers changed. Or I can come in and make it peak hour only. That filters for peak hour. The main reason we are actually displaying the data this way is to be able to talk component by component versus generic, and also make him displayed in the same graph to stack it and show you the supply rate, and also give you some likelihood chances. So this is the wholesale cost and the first tab that I just displayed to you. There is a lot of tooltips here for you to take a look. Whenever you see question mark, you can click it and see what it is. That explains the legends and what is what. Covering that, we move to the second tab, which is the retail. I want to see the electricity, same selection for now. Illinois, ComEd, and we can move it to every one of the 80 to 90 states that you're covering the data for, and we have data for, and we can graph. This is the retail cost for ComEd. To make it clear what the difference is, the wholesale cost and the graph for wholesale comes from it comes from the ISO future market of CME. If you're looking into ICE to see if we can combine the data with ICE, there's two sources for future data: the trading data, ICE and CME. We currently use only CME, but we will look into see if we can enhance it and use ICE and essentially augment our database. And some markets are being traded in either of the two, but ICE is another source. But currently we use the CME. For the future, for the past, reveal it as ICE. So that's for wholesale cost. The retail, this is our daily pricing that we get from our suppliers, and that's essentially it's what's provided at the raw price and provided to at a daily basis. And you can essentially take a look at the movements, the numbers, and where the trends are trending, and the upward, flat, downward, with and what's predicted to come next. Obviously, when you talk about the retail, there is no future. If you're talking about the price of a 12-month contract today, what the suppliers publish, that includes information about future. But if you're not driving that, the future price essentially is in wholesale. If you want to look at that, you just look at the wholesale. But the retail chart is up to today by definition. This is the published retail data, retail price data from the suppliers averaged out among all these suppliers that we're receiving pricing from. Just probably 40, 50 suppliers are sending daily prices to us. We average it, and we just display this is a 12-month contract starting next meter read, and I think for a 300,000 kilowatt hour average customer, just to give you this is one class of customers. Obviously, every customer is different, but that's supposed to give you the trend and average for that class of customer. Next tab is capacity. If I look at capacity, first of all, electricity is pre-selected because there's no capacity for gas. And what I can do, you can get stats for capacity and look at the prices of capacity in the future up to now. And that's average price of capacity in ComEd. We're looking at that market right now. And it's $1 per megawatt per day. That's the unit. So $447 per megawatt per day is the price of a megawatt of capacity per day currently in this territory. And that's the dollar amount. So you pay $147.64 to book that capacity, 1 megawatt of capacity for the day. If you need that for 30 days, you would pay 30 times 147. $147.64 per megawatt per day is what it costs to book a capacity generation capacity. And if you want that same amount for 30 days, every day of the month, you essentially pay 30 times this. That's your capacity cost. Lastly, hourly fluctuation. Look at hourly fluctuation and 24/7. And this is the hourly fluctuation in that market, which is the peak and off peak. 2 a.m., 4 p.m. Those are the peak and off peak, and then see the trend. Most markets have the same type of shape, and even much different if you look at New Jersey. The numbers will be different, but the trend would stay the same. This is PSAG, New Jersey. That's the trend. Same, very similar. Happens about 4:30 p.m. is the peak, and then the off peak is about 2 a.m. Very similar. And you can graph it for every market if you want and see how it looks like. Look at the parameter one more time and see what's being displayed here. As I said, this chart will be stack chart, so that's the big difference. Everything else, there are some small errors and such. This was a revision 1 we just released last week, and we are going to finalize it. We want to take it, but it's very, I think very, very meaningful graph, and the data is simple, and you can even screenshot it, and in case you wanted to build a proposal, you can take a look at it. One of the main features of this function is this page is also exportability. You can export it to Excel. You can do data, raw data, have access to it as a courtesy of our subscription. And just go to the bottom of the page and export, and that would pull the data for you. Obviously, you can do the gas as well. You can select the hub, and that's commodity basis, and it's a total NYMEX and basis, and that's the sum. So this is the graph. This is actually the 3 charts. The blue is the commodity, it's the sum, and the NYMEX, and the basis is the orange. Basis in New Jersey is pretty high, 14 cents, makes sense. And the NYMEX is 420.92, and that's actually should be supply. It's another thing that we have. This we would say total supply. So, but you can do the same with the retail, and you can see the hourly fluctuation, which I don't think exists for gas. This actually pulls electricity come. I thought this will be also gone, but you got the gesture of the new page and how it works. It's supposed to be stack chart. It's supposed to highlight the features, and it has bring a lot of simplicity to make it user friendly regarding the parameters. You only have to select state, service type, gas or electricity, the zone or the hub for gas, zone or utility for electricity that you're at, and the date range that you want to graph. You can change and play with it and essentially build the graphic you want. And look at wholesale retail capacity for gas, for electricity, and also hourly fluctuation. That's the data that currently includes. And now that we have this sort of nailed down and built, obviously we're going to finalize this in the next couple of days to take some of these, as I said, bugs out. And moving forward, we have a big year of analytics that are going to be built upon this page, primarily about market timing. The question of market timing, obviously, is the toughest question to answer. Everybody's challenge is whether they should act today and or should we wait? How many days? What's the prediction? And ultimately make the best educated decision. So this page would become more and more enhanced regarding market timing. We have already an enhanced version of our market timing measure. If you look at, I'm going back to the chart that we just looked at, and okay, this is the measure that essentially is a 52-week outlook. We're looking at the chances or likelihood of today being a good day to purchase electricity. And this measure, we're going to be enhancing it. We will add predictive measures to it. We will enhance our model. As I said, this model has been in use for about 2 years. We've been building it about 2 years ago, but it's small, minor enhancement calibration of it. But a new model just was calibrated over the last quarter, the fourth quarter of 2019, and will be released also. So we are going to have better and better measures of timing, and you can also connect it to your cell phone. If you're a broker for all your accounts, you get notices. If you're a customer for all your properties, you will get notices, and you can essentially get email or SMS regarding these notices, and utilize that for your decisions. And that's going to guide you when the timing is good and the data is supportive of that. You at least know you don't need to necessarily log in to look at this graph every day. This graph's result. The most important thing is, should I wait or should I purchase? That question will be answered with that alert that will come to you. So as I said, the next step of this is implement the new model, which is actually under work right now. When it's implemented, then we're going to announce their alerts feature and how you can activate it. And that will give you the option, the ability to receive those alerts and notifications. Good to have feature that has been developed, and we just talked about it today. So